Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Here's $1 million to stop asking.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Welcome to amorephillyunion, where sometimes less really is less. We are your hosts. I'm Paul.
I'm C.
I'm E.
And despite the start, we are going to try to find something good to say about this week. I'm not sure what. We're all still feeling a little bit,
I don't know, windless sails or something.
yeah, a little at what do they call that? Anyway, yeah, it's just like you said, windless sails. Just a little still shocked by the move of Daniel Gajdag and then, the lackluster performance this weekend. Any housekeeping updates that we want to share with the group? I don't think so.
No, we actually were, a little one, I guess. Not that we're really keeping track of these things, but we're about to cross a couple of milestones. We're nearing episode 100, which I feel like we should do something for that. I don't know. And we are just on the cusp of 5,000 downloads, which is insane. After our first year, I was like,
it took us till August to get to 1,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think even bigger, it's just approaching that 100 episode. That marker, that milestone.
That would be quite a milestone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to believe.
We'll put our thinking caps on, see what we can do to honor that milestone. And thanks everyone for helping us get here.
Because right now it may be more fun to celebrate ourselves than
More Philly Union actually reaches 100 episodes. But it's like I've heard people say 100 episodes. That's adult numbers now.
Right.
This is more than just like a weekend experiment of let's see if we can do this. This is we're almost in triple digits. So thanks everyone.
I do wonder how many union podcasts have started and fallen off before they hit 100 episodes. I mean, there's a couple that are going now that have been going for quite a while. So
it's not easy. I take my hat off to everybody out there who does this stuff. While the team is providing us material every week just to sit down, organize, try to say something semi-intelligent about it, borderline.
We're talking about the other podcast.
Yeah. I feel like I'm Stuart Smalley sitting in front of the mirror, I mean,
I do like that, I've said it before and we've talked about it before. Our format is definitely much more of us just kind of chatting union. We're not trying to pass ourselves off as actual news people. We're not press. We're just fans, and this is definitely a fan podcast. But even still, it is a bit of an effort to make sure that we find a time to record. Eric, I don't know how many additional hours of editing you put in each week to do this. It's a labor of love.
Yeah, it is. Also, can you tell we don't really want to talk about the game this week?
Yeah, let's get into it.
I was just gonna say let's save it for the 100th pod a little bit at least. But yeah.
So
let's just do it. Rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, the Union went up to New York City to play on that
trapezoid
soccer field dish thingy, whatever that is that they've got there.
It's like the putting green at a mini golf place.
Really, it's terrible. I mean, you could see
where's the windmill?
You can.
They really should.
Oh, somebody has to Photoshop a windmill onto that.
I am begging you to send me that, please.
If you can do that, we will get that onto our socials for sure.
We will 100%.
Put a couple of putters in the guy's hands. Oh, that would be wonderful.
Oh man, you have please get your Photoshop.
I feel like we Photoshop like a shot on goal. I don't know, and just replace the ball with a fluorescent orange golf ball, and remove the net and put in the windmill, and
So
that's awesome.
The Union loses 1-0. It is our first game without Gajdag. And there were some unexpected shakeups in the lineup.
Yeah.
the big one, I'm going to just jump right into it, is
Do it.
Blake wasn't in that.
I was
Yep.
blown away. I was really like,
Now we all watched this on delay, so I jumped forward into the actual game time and was surprised to see Rick in net. Not necessarily worried, but I kept waiting for them to talk more about why Blake was out, and it turned out that he has another leg injury that he's working on that I guess he pulled up based off of Carnell's post game interview. He apparently pulled up in training on Friday. It was a game time decision to not start. But I don't know about you guys. That has me worried.
I mean, hopefully it's the, oh gosh, what's the one phrase that gets overused? Excess of caution.
Over an abundance of caution?
Oh, abundance of caution. Whatever. Yeah. Playing it safe than sorry. I don't know. Christy, I didn't want to.
Oh, no. I mean, always a worry when he's not in. So, and I mean, the good news is it was a fairly late call to not have him in, so that makes me wonder if it was a bit of caution. Maybe they thought they had it, yeah, a little more so than they did.
Yeah,
I don't know. So, I mean, I don't like it's still not great, but it's better than he's out for 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, we're looking at Yukovic.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I guess we'll see. We won't know anything till we know something. I couldn't find a lot about it today. I was
they've been a lot more
at the gas
cagey.
station.
They've been a lot more cagey, it seems like, this year than last, in the past, about length of issues with injuries and severity. Like apparently Mbaizo is injured.
Yeah.
Right.
I hadn't heard about that until the post-game press conference when Parnell said that he was dealing with a hamstring issue.
Right.
Doesn't have to start submitting freedom of information requests. Yeah, I mean the Blake injury, and we talked about this before we started our recording tonight. It does have uncomfortable parallels to last season, echoes of last season. And Paul, what was it? How much did Blake miss last season?
Well, according to the Free Kick podcast, Todd said that he missed 51% of the Union games last year.
Yeah.
Now, as Christy rightly pointed out, it wasn't just the MLS games; it was also U.S. Open Cup and CONCACAF Cup and Champions League and all, or the whatever they were calling the MLS League of Mexico game.
Although Open Cup was the only thing we didn't participate in.
No,
we didn't do that last year. You're right.
We didn't do it last year.
But point stands regardless. Yeah.
So yeah, it just has that uncomfortable feeling of, not this again. I mean, it's one game. I'm not.
It's one game. We'll see.
I'm not running out the door screaming with my hands in the air, but
not yet.
I am walking around in the foyer before I go out. So
Kevin McAllister from Home Alone.
Yeah,
that's what I was trying to remember. All right, but good news as far as lineups go. Wagner is back in.
Yeah, that was good to see.
Whatever injury that was ailing him, I guess he felt healthy enough to get back on the field. Which
Something like tea in a hot water bottle can't fix. in true German fashion.
So it was Wagner, Macania got back into the center mid with center defense with Glesnes, and Harriel started out right. So we didn't see Westfield until the second half. Danley and Lukic were at the base of the midfield. Sullivan was in one of the attacking spots with everybody's expected new starter, Indiana Vasilev, at the other side of the midfield. And
was that Indy's first start for the season? I couldn't remember if that was his first start or not. Maybe a second.
I think he started another game, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
I feel like he did too. I just couldn't remember.
I'd have to dig a little to find out for sure.
Yeah, we'd have to go back to the previous game. Anyway, so and then Damiani and Baribo up top at the start. Yeah, but it was surprising to hear about Mbaizo being out. Glavinovic is still healing after his surgery. Hopefully this is completing week one of of the surgery, so he's got 5 to 7 more weeks out. Starting off this game, it was a little awkward. There appeared to be a net issue. That's one of the trainers for NYC FC had to go knot up a net. Something had come undone or whatever.
It looked like it had been cut or accidentally, not. It was so strange, and I honestly took that as an omen.
Yeah, I remember
like,
you saying that.
This is like the raccoon on the field situation. It's not as much fun, but it's just weird. And I don't know. It gave me a strange feeling. But anyway,
the game eventually did get started, and as
also,
expected,
where was the ground crew? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it felt like
where was the ground crew? Come on, guys.
How did nobody catch that before the game started?
I mean, okay.
But
Sorry,
even so, like, figured a ground crew guy would have been the one out there to fix it. But
not the whatever. Okay, don't get me started.
Don't even get me started.
So that what happened.
I see a new segment for our podcast. It'll be Christie's "Don't Even Get Me Started."
I just can't.
Yeah, that might be more. That might be pretty accurate, actually.
Well, just like you, this game apparently couldn't produce any decent football or decent soccer play because on a postage stamp size field like this, you couldn't take a step without running into somebody, and it was a lot of long balls over the top. A couple of actually decent plays out wide where they fed it into space. Both teams, but Rick did have a good save early in the game. I think around the 12th minute or so, he had a real nice save on a NYC FC opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I can't totally blame the field, but it just did not seem like the teams were connecting that well.
What do you mean by the teams were connecting? Like just amongst themselves?
Amongst themselves, like the passes were meh. Maybe we're 20% of the way into the season. They should be pretty well shaking the rust off at this point. You would like to see them performing better than this. I don't know that Lukic and Danley are this amazing that they were totally clogging up the midfield and keeping NYCFC from doing anything, but I don't know. It was once again a game of two high pressing teams.
It was the way I was thinking of it was just probably just a way of rephrasing what you said. It just looked like nobody could get anything started. Just nobody could get anything going. It was just
Reminded me of the old Marx Brothers movie, Night at the Opera. The scene when there's like 20 people. I don't know if they set a record. The whole scene takes place in a single train car, and more people keep piling in. I mean, that's what this kind of felt like.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul, I agree. It felt like all the traffic was just moving up and down the wings, and I think Apple showed their attack,
their heat map or whatever they call it.
Not the heat map. It's like the 4 arrows left and right wings and left and right middle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it looked like someone was given the whole, like the rock and roll fingers, exactly. The Rodney James Dio, the bull horns. I mean, kudos to Lukic and Jean-Jacques, but with the exception of one or two, I know Lukic had that one. He teed up kind of a long range shot, which was nice to see. A little high, but it was still a good shot. Jean-Jacques, I felt, was fairly quiet in this game. Neither good nor bad. I just felt like it was, I wasn't seeing his number or hearing his name too much.
Sullivan did make a number of good runs and had some crosses and passes in the final third, which we need him to do and step up in that role. I have to say, was not a shining moment for Indiana Vassilev this as a play.
No, and I'm rooting for him. If you're listening, Indy, I am listen. I
Yeah.
am rooting for you.
We are Team
We
Indy here.
we have you on good authority that you're quite a fellow, but I wasn't seeing it. Um, I will say too, going back to real quick to Sullivan, he was running his butt off as usual. He was doing his thing. It did feel like they kept not he, but they kept trying like the same strategy over and over and over again. It's sort of like that, whole definition of insanity thing.
Mhm.
He's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So I was kind of like, do we have two tricks in this pony? Or is this it?
Yeah.
Is this the only idea we have for tonight? But I don't know. I'm sure, I don't know. It was frustrating to me. And then no, it's still and if that's your trick, why is there nobody on the other end to receive said ball? Not to derail the indie conversation, but that was just before we got too far away from Sullivan.
But
I was not blaming him.
But I mean, I think that's an interesting point you bring because, when you look at the stats, I mean, in some respects, things were in our favor. One, we did not have the majority of possession, which usually serves us, better.
As well.
But we outshot New York City, both just shots and shots on goal, and it doesn't feel like the numbers reflect the game.
No.
We had two good looks in the second half with some headers.
Yep.
I think Reese, former Union keeper, had
Freeze.
what's that?
Matt Freeze.
Matt Freeze. I keep saying Reese. Matt Freeze had to dive to the left to stop both of them. And I definitely in the second half, I felt like we were making, a little bit more momentum. We need to pull up the momentum chart or whatever it's called, where the ups and downs to see which side is the momentum's on. But I felt like, I don't know, it was a 1-0 loss.
It's interesting. So if they actually had possession, it definitely felt like the game was tilted onto their half of the field more. So I don't know if our press was just more effective in keeping the ball down there, because the goal that they did score was a counter press that led to a long pass that Martinez ran onto. So it wasn't like it was a really well built up play from NYC FC. They just won the ball off the Union just over the halfway line into the New York side. They made a quick pass out wide. That player got their head up, saw Martinez running for space and made a good pass into space. And then Martinez just outran the Union's defense.
Yeah. So what do you think about Rick coming out?
I actually agree with Carnell's response at the end at the post-game conference. It's where, he's not going to flag Rick for making an error. This is a learning opportunity. And yes, this was a painful one in that the Union ended up giving up a goal because Rick made a mistake, or, what he tried to do didn't work. And I didn't have a problem with it. I mean, even in the MLS Cup final that they were in, when Corey Burke had that breakaway that ended up injuring LAFC's keeper, Maxime Crepeau, like, he was way out of his net. He was outside the box. It's not uncommon for keepers to try to make that play. They just have to actually make that play then, or at least delay the attacker long enough for a defender to get back. And Rick missed it. I'm okay with it. I don't know that the Union did enough to earn a win in this one, so I don't know that it was a fair result. I think a tie would have been better, but
yeah.
So
I was gonna say, I don't think that the goal
NYC.
notwithstanding that NYCFC did all that much either. But,
I would agree.
Or at least not more than we did. We will.
I don't think it was like who was the team that came into the Subaru Park and just did not want to play last week's game? Was that
Orlando?
Yeah, Orlando.
I think that team just didn't seem to want to score.
No, it was like they were parking the bus at 0-0. I'm like, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
it's true.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
What are you doing? Why are we time wasting at 0-0? Seriously?
This isn't a World Cup game where we both need a tie to advance, and we're just agreeing to do that like they did. I forget. Oh no, it wasn't a 0-0. It was like a 3-3 goal a game that they needed in one of the old World Cups. Where both the teams said, "Hey, we both need 3 goals. If we end up with a 3-3 tie, we're the two teams that advance out of the group." So that's what they did, and then they proceeded to kick the ball around for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
But no, this one just felt like this, as opposed to the Orlando game where felt like Orlando was perfectly happy to finish with a 0-0 game.
Yeah.
This one felt like both teams were trying to score, but just kept running out of room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good point. Um, out of room. God, that's so ridiculous. I can't even stand it.
I mean, I know technically I think it is within FIFA limits, but I wonder about that because there is a minimal size that FIFA allows soccer pitches to be, and I gotta imagine if it fits, it's only barely.
Yeah.
I think that's actually, I do feel like I heard that somewhere, but I don't. Oh, here we go.
You got the rules.
I think they size it like Allen Iverson used to be sized, where he was, probably 5'9", but they kept calling him a 6 foot forward. So, yeah. Oh yeah, sure. It is 90 yards long and 60 yards wide. Sure it is. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Here's $1 million to stop asking.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have an official ruling on that, but this is from Wikipedia, so grains of salt. But and I didn't actually realize this. I always thought they played at Yankee Stadium. They play at Yankee Stadium
Is
and
it?
Mets Stadium. They play both.
City Field was this one.
Yeah, this was the Mets. City Field is the Mets. So, which I have to say, it must be disorienting as a club. That must be
So they
a
play at
pain.
both
At
stadiums?
both.
How
Yeah,
frustrated would that be if you got tickets to an NYC FC game and went to the wrong stadium?
right.
I did not know that they
I
bounce
didn't know
back and
that
forth.
either. I was trying to find it while we were talking if that's a recent thing.
I
Maybe a
think
PSL
they
listener
only
will know.
play at City Field when the Yankees are have a game within a day the
Mm,
NYC
because
games.
of the transformation. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that makes sense, but it's just I had never realized that. But I will say that again, according to Wikipedia, in 2022, after NYCFC appeared for the 2022 CONCACAF Champions League, the club later confirmed that neither Yankee Stadium nor Citi Field are approved venues by CONCACAF for the CONCACAF Champions League. Not approved by CONCACAF.
Not
Y'all,
I
approved
mean,
by Congress.
CONCACAF will take anybody's money to make a call
I
in.
know, right?
give it to Mikey. He likes everything. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just like, yeah, meaning that CCL matches would be required to be played at a CONCACAF approved venue such as Red Bull Arena or other available approved venue.
It's terrible.
So that's wild
It
to
is
me.
terrible.
All right. Can I
But
just
they are building a stadium, the Etihad Stadium, and I believe it's somewhere near the Met Stadium in Flushing. So good on
all
them.
right. I
We
just
need
want to point out
Mark would
here.
know. Our friend Mark, the Red Bulls fan, would know for sure. But
So again, I'm on Wikipedia here. So grain of salt and all that. When did New York City actually start in MLS? According to this, they were founded in 2013. They've been in this league for 11 years.
12 if it's 2013.
I mean, they've started so yeah, so this is their 12th season. And this is back in the heyday of like, all these new clubs coming in must
That
have
actually sounds about right. A
soccer.
couple years after the union. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they had a lot of big names, right? That came through.
Vieira was the coach. They had John Terry, I think was, or no, Lampard,
Yeah,
Frank
Frank
Lampard.
Lampard.
yeah.
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 Although
When
founded
did-
doesn't necessarily mean because you look up the union's founding, it's going to be earlier than we started playing. I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's what Eric says. If they
Yeah.
founded in 2013, they started playing in 2014. This is their 12th, 11th
Yeah.
season. I don't know.
11th
I'm actually
probably.
looking this up here. Hold on. All right,
Team's
let's just go with
inaugural MLS season in 2015.
2015. Okay,
So
so they
this is
started in
their
2015.
so this is their 11th season then.
Okay.
Because last year would have been their 10th.
All right, so they started in 2015. And so,
Maybe.
the whole thing about clubs coming in, they had their own stadiums, all that, but except if you're like in the big market, then they'll waive some of the requirements. It's like, well,
If you're in New York, if you're in LA,
or
if David Beckham has his name
owns-
attached to you,
or Messi's going to be on your team,
right? Slash Messi being on your team, yeah.
I think like,
They have a proper stadium though. I
They
shouldn't say
do.
that. So there's no
Who's
use
that?
picking on Miami.
Miami.
No, sure. No, absolutely. But it's like 2015. We are now 11 years. This is your 11th season. It's like the
Come
dragons
on.
it's the
Come
dragons
on.
in Game of Thrones. Oh, they're coming. They're coming.
Well,
The
they're also
stadium's
getting
coming.
something built in New York, so I don't know that that's an easy
Yeah, I
feat to
guess
pull off.
maybe. But 11
So-
years. Well, this has been my episode of Don't Even Get Me Started. Or
I
whatever
just can't.
I just can't.
Ground has been broken as of December 4th, 2024.
Yeah, but that's just some guy that, an
It's
old
people with
broken
fancy
down-
shovels,
Exactly.
but
Chrome
ground has
shovels
been
and-
broken.
All right, well, okay. Anyway,
So,
well,
anyway, we veered wildly
Somebody should
off
get a
course.
picture from Parks and Rec of the pit and the
100%.
I know what our song's going to be for this week's episode now.
Oh my God.
All right. So after this loss, nobody really covered themselves in glory for sure for the Union. Neither really for NYCFC, but the Union now have 13 points with a record of 4 wins, 3 losses, and a draw. Currently good enough for 5th place.
And that's the other thing. Like, I keep forgetting it. This does not feel like a 4-3-1 record. It feels like we're like, 1 win. I mean, I know we've won 4 games. When I was looking at our notes, I'm like, wow, we've won 4 games. It feels a little high,
And amazingly, Baribo is still tied for first in MLS
Yeah.
with Brian White
That's
with
wild.
6 goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
That's wild.
Wagner's now in second place, tied for second. There's a whole slew of people with 4 assists. So
All
we
right.
gotta
So
get
other-
the Kai-Tai
other-
going, whether or not on the field or in a tumbler or something.
Yeah, seriously.
We all need it.
One thing I think we all agreed upon that we were looking for is for the offense to get going.
Yeah, I really wanted Indiana to have a good game.
And I don't know that he had a bad one, but he didn't.
Right.
Again, it was sort of just as the youth might say, mid. Just kind of.
I'm just going to Google that real
As
quick.
the youth might say. Yeah.
As the Utes might say, a bit mid. The performance was sort of, as the olds might say, middling.
Really.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't seeing anything that made me think, oh, here's our standout star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you're listening to this. I really am not trying to be awful, but I
got to imagine he's going back to the locker room frustrated as well.
I'm sure.
And a lot of them, the whole team, I'm sure.
I think it does come back to something that we talked about throughout the season last year was we need them to play happy, to play fun, have fun out there.
The fun has gone out, don't you think? I don't know if we're projecting, but right now, like early in the season, they were having fun, and now it's. I almost feel like the Gazdag thing might have taken them by quite a bit of surprise too, just by some of the comments I was seeing from the goodbye comments from some of the players. You're like, I didn't see this coming, but I hope you do well, that kind of thing.
And he did do well. Apparently, he sort of scored a goal, but then didn't. I didn't see this replay.
Pulled back.
Yeah, it was offside.
Was he?
Yeah, I queued up the replay highlights and
man,
just to see him if he was on the field, if he played or not, and and just to see him put the ball in the net, and it was on a kind of a little bit of a
Did he start?
Like no, he didn't start, but kind of like the Martinez goal against the Union. It was kind of a very similar thing for
but he was offside.
but it was offside. Yeah.
All right, well, good luck to Danny, except for when he plays the Union.
I mean, he just got traded to a first place team, right? Columbus is sitting in first
Yep.
place right now. So,
Yep.
and he did, I know, we talked about the lack of media coverage of his transfer, right? It was all like either secondhand sources, and then finally, right, it came out on the Union site and whatnot. But then Gosdog finally, was able to post some stuff on social.
And he did have a very nice
Yes.
post
He did.
for the
Yeah.
Union fans.
Yeah.
And
He
I
did.
know that, the one of the interviews, he talked about how he was hoping to finish his career in Philly, which was a nice. But then he turned around and like the next sentence said, "But it's nice to be playing for a team that plays for titles every year."
Ouch.
It's like, ouch.
Ouch.
Yeah, exactly.
Ouch.
So like that, I don't blame him one bit for
No.
that, but it just it was like, yeah, it felt
Yeah.
like maybe a deserved dagger.
Mhm.
A
Mhm.
dagger we all agree with, maybe. I don't know. But
That we're all
yeah.
frustrated by its accuracy.
Yeah. There you go. That's a good way of putting it. But yeah, that was just sad to see that he felt that way, but
Yeah.
and doesn't bode well for whatever is going on behind the scenes of the club, because it does. I mean, obviously it's coming from one person and his opinion, but it does make you wonder if they're just trying to run a player mill. Just
Yeah.
is that what this is? And we're just being, no pun intended, duped into thinking
DUPE, not
yeah,
DOOP.
that we should be going and cheering for this when they're just really running an academy that happens to also be an MLS.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, their academy is doing well, as both the U16 and the U18s have moved into the knockout rounds of the whatever. I think it's Generation
That
Adidas.
next.
No, not MLS next. This is the youth tournament that they hold every year. The Union always do very well in, but they both of their teams have moved into the knockout rounds. So I guess they're playing for whatever the title is and working their way up. But it's an interesting point there, Christy, that, is this an academy that has a team that plays some of it, or is this a team that happens to have an academy?
Yeah.
So I definitely agree. Sometimes it feels more like the first than the second.
Yeah.
I think they have a little proving to do, that's not what the case is here. So right now, at least, that's coming off of a 0-0 draw and a loss. So, but that's how I feel at the moment.
Now that said, some of those
And
academy
Gus
products are starting to work out. Like, Sullivan showing his values, Harry Hill showing his. Even Westfield got in as a second half sub in this game, and he's definitely proving his worth. So we'll have to see if they keep producing.
I'll be more excited when they start to gel.
Yes.
Right now they're all individually talented folks, who, have some moments where things work out, but a lot of them where they do something really nice and then there's nobody on the other end to see it through.
Yep. Or they make a sliding stop on a breakaway and miss. So, things will happen. Hopefully next time things will work better for them.
That's right.
But if they can start to gel, that would be great.
Yeah, I say the sooner these young players can gel, the sooner we can sell them off.
Look, I'm the negative person here.
I know.
You stay in your lane, E. Get back in the hole.
Back in the pit. Yeah.
All right. So a little bit of good news that did possibly get posted this tonight up on the Union webpage, because it's up there twice and neither of the articles appear to be completely formatted correctly.
There's no H1.
That's right. That's an HTML reference for those who don't know.
That's right, baby.
So apparently the Union are starting something they are referring to as Philly Crafted, which seems to be some sort of a collaboration with local artists to give them exposure to, have them do things around the the stadium and in the area. I don't know exactly what they're going to be doing with this, and neither article has a lot of details. And in fact, I don't think we're ever formatted or proofread. So that's why we're kind of confident that they were accidentally posted. But I
Yeah.
think that's kind of cool that the union are trying to branch out to more than just the soccer side as a club.
It fits well with Philly and the mural city
Mhm.
kind of thing. It really works well with that, which is was such a cool thing about Philly. I mean, we don't live in Philadelphia, but when we get down there, it is always so interesting to see all the art. It's just everywhere. But I know Jim, when he was coaching, would often wear, I mean,
Mitchell and Ness.
yeah, Mitchell and Ness, but I think he wore some kind of indie, not even, I
Mhm.
don't even know if they were collabs. I think they were more like indie things that designers had done around the union, and the styling. So because I remember him saying that for one or two of them, he kind of got in trouble because they weren't necessarily fully sanctioned by the merch offices. So, but yeah, I think it kind of continues that and encourages that tradition, which
That's very cool.
love to see.
Absolutely.
So I'll love to see what the rest of this article says when they have it proofread to add the rest of the paragraphs and that H1 that I was talking about earlier. I'm pretty sure somebody started this at the end of the day and
Yep,
then meant to save it and accidentally published it. But
exactly.
but thank
I meant
you.
to
It was
click
something to
the
talk about. Yeah.
click save a draft, and then they accidentally clicked it again
Yeah.
and then hit publish, and yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll have to keep an eye out and see what happens with that.
Mhm.
Other than that, not a lot of union news so far this week. It is Tuesday when we're recording this, so who knows? Maybe they'll end up selling off 15 other players between now and Saturday. There's still
Let's
time.
let's see how mad we can make Scoops this week.
Yeah, right.
All right. So
I feel
looking
like
at
that's a new metric we can use, the scoops factor of just like how ridiculous is this trade? It's like
I'll start asking her.
it's
so
like
instead of like the Scoville heat index, it'll be
yeah,
the Scoops anger
it's
index.
the scoops trade index or
I think
something.
she would actually assent to that. I mean, we use a lot of her quotes without any kind of permission at all, but I think if we gave her a scale, she'd be okay with that. So
And I think it'd be an inverse scale. It's the number represents the number of like minutes until after something was posted, but until we got a tweet, it's like or we got a text. It's like, well, on the scoop scale, this is a 15. This one's 120. It took over 2 minutes.
Anything over 24 hours is
Yeah.
non-issue.
Yeah.
apparently Gosdog was then because she sent it to me and said, I think you probably already know this. But anyway.
All right. So with no current news other than what we've talked about, the Union this weekend will be hosting Atlanta.
hmm
It's one of two consecutive home games, so hopefully the Union will get back on their winning ways, especially since Atlanta is currently sitting in ninth place with 2 wins, 3 losses, 3 draws, and 9 points.
I think
And
11th place. Is it 11th place?
did I say, what did I say?
You
11th?
said ninth. I think you saw the points. So
I saw
they're
9 points and said
Yeah.
ninth. That could be. I apologize. 11th place, 2 wins, 3 losses, 3 draws, 9 points. And they are coming off of a loss to New England, a one
Yeah.
nothing loss to New England.
who's
I have to
currently
say
in
one.
12th?
Sorry.
Yeah, who are currently in 12th. So I guess that was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So one of the things I'm concerned about with this team so far this year is we're, like I said, 20% of the way into the season, and we've already had some what feels to be significant injury issues
Yeah.
on this team with
Mm.
Mbaizo, with Blake, with Wagner, with trying to remember if
Jovanovic.
anybody out of the midfield. I guess the midfield has stayed pretty well healthy, but like
You said Bizo? Yeah, you did, right?
yep. Yeah, there just seems to be a good number of injuries so far this year. And I'm not sure if it's because of the high pressing, because the people that have been injured predominantly are defenders, but I don't know. It's concerning. I don't
Yeah.
know that it's actually a sign of problems, but yeah, it's definitely something. So for me this week, I really, 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 really want to see the Union score some goals, not just one. I'd like them to get at least two.
Yeah.
I don't know, but what are you two looking for?
You want to do it, Christy? You go first.
Trying to think of what I want to say.
Well, okay. Here's one thing. Like one, it's Atlanta, and we talked before about natural organic rivalries versus fabricated,
Hmm.
and this is back in the Harris Medunian years. Remember when we had that one game with them where down in Atlanta, and man, things came off the rails fast. Like
Hmm.
and like Harris was really like
I think he got a yellow card
I
in
think he got
that
a
one.
yellow card, which was
So did
because he
Bedoya, if I remember right.
yeah, and it was kind of like Harris was kind of like I think they even called him like the gentleman, right? He was
Hmm.
like the
Yeah, well, he was the
um
Yeah.
one who told the
mhm.
ref, "Hey, I actually didn't get a foul. Don't give this guy our straight red
Yeah, that
card."
was for
Hmm.
a different game, right? Where he
Yeah.
kind of stepped in and you know so for him to be really kind of losing his cool and that game got really chippy and I remember that season and maybe a little bit into the next every time we played Atlanta it was always like all right what's going to happen in this game kind of organically this kind of instant animosity kind of came into being. I don't really know if it's around anymore, but we'll see. Because I know Atlanta is, I think they're pretty frustrated with their current um,
Yes.
position in the league and just how they're playing. So, we are kind of a wounded animal. So maybe that they're going to come into Philly hoping to be able to capitalize on whatever streak or whatever valley we currently are in. So that'll be interesting if that gets a kind of a chippy game. Um, but honestly, what do I want to see? It's like the one post one of you guys talked about. What do the Union need to do in this game? We need to win. I want to see us win. I don't care if it's by one goal or another 4-1 blowout. I want to see a win. I think we need it. I think I need it. Um,
Hmm.
that's what I want. Whether or not Indy has a great game, whether or not Baribo runs up a hat trick and just takes control of the Golden Boot competition, we need the win.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much all I had to say too. I don't know that I think I'm beyond subtleties at this point and hoping to see, what so and so can do and whatever. I don't care who gets the ball in the net, but
Yeah.
that's where it needs to go. So, I mean, this week, look, they were playing on the crazy field. We've
Yeah.
already addressed that quite a bit. And then a bit of a shock loss of God's dog for whatever. I mean, I understand
Mm-hmm.
that maybe his position had changed and there was no diamond or triangle or whatever
Trapezoid.
anymore. Um, but um, but still, I think it sounds like it was quite a bit of shock and it just a little bit of disorientation happening there. Whether don't know which thing caused it or both, but I would like them to find their footing
Mm-hmm.
and get the ball in the back of the net and be the team they can be. I think they're looking better generally on defense than they had before, and now we just need to get that offense back and find out who can do that for us. So, and somebody needs to be on the other end of wins crosses if we're going to stick with that. So,
All right. Well, there
Yeah,
you
no,
go.
I agree. I
Let's
agree.
see if the boys in blue can find a way to get a win this weekend. Um,
Maybe
anything else?
The Easter Bunny will bring us some goals this year.
That'd be nice. But we need them on Saturday.
Either way.
quickly, favorite Easter candy? Go.
Oh, good question.
I mean, the bunny. You got to go chocolate bunny.
Just straight up nice
Yeah, just
classic chocolate bunny.
yeah.
Milk
I
or
mean,
dark?
well, these days I'm much more of a dark chocolate fan. But my
Back in the
kids
day,
all,
milk.
oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Okay.
and I am a solid Easter bunny.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
know my wife prefers the hollow. They break
Mhm.
up easier, but I just remember having that big piece of wonderful milk chocolate when growing up, and it was wonderful to gnaw
Yeah.
on that thing until it was all gone.
Yeah. It's Stutz's milk chocolate solid bunny. That's the high water mark.
Bucks County shout out,
Yeah, there
Stutzus.
you go.
Woo woo!
Um,
Or closer to me, it's Bergen's.
yeah. And no,
closer to us, it's Reppert's, but I don't think
There
they do
you go,
solid.
Repperts. That's what's
Yeah. I don't know if they do solid. I think everything is hollow. I'm
Yeah,
not
they do
sure. I mean,
hollow.
they do small solid, but I don't
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
they do.
I also like a nice Reese's peanut butter cup egg.
Those are good.
Those are good too.
Yeah. Yeah, those are solid. I'm a Cadbury mini egg person,
converted me
and
to
also
those.
the Cadbury cream eggs to a point.
Did
Although
not
I think
convert me to those.
no, I don't think I ever will. But I'm actually
More
might
for
be out of that market a little bit more. So I still like them, but it's a lot. It's a lot of sugar.
Mm-hmm.
But also as a kid, the spiced jelly beans were my jam too. In
So I
addition to the
saw a
chocolate.
cute post on social media the other day was, in preparation for Easter, you can go outside and plant, quote unquote, plant some jelly beans. And then on Easter morning, see if the Easter bunny has, puts lollipops in their place as a route. I think that's adorable.
That's very cute.
That's pretty good.
That's a free tip for you parents and aunts and uncles out there.
Absolutely. All right. With no other Union news and looking forward to the game this weekend, please feel free to visit us at our website, amorephillyunion.com. Please send us any questions via email or on our socials. As we asked for, if you've got some of those Photoshop skills and you want to send us some artwork for us to feature, we would absolutely love to do that.
Oh,
Please do it. Please, please, please. I'm begging you.
Even if you're not any good at Photoshop, send it to us anyway, just because we love the interaction.
Just ask ChatGPT to put something together.
No. I would prefer like some rough around the edges Photoshop to ChatGPT.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
But yeah, so
so once you put that artwork together, email it to us at pod@amorephillyunion.com, or you can reach us at any of our socials, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, Bluesky Social. We are Amore Philly Union. And if you're looking for something to listen to, we still have our very eclectic Spotify playlist, which sounds like he already has something that he wants to have added to this.
I've already forgotten what it was. I should have written it down.
Don't. But you can find that playlist under Amore Philly Union, so please tune in. You can download and subscribe to our podcast wherever you get yours: Apple, Spotify, Amazon, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Player FM, giving some love to the lesser used ones. And while you're at it, go and show some love for one of our favorite forces for good in the world, the Philadelphia Union Foundation. And you can check them out at philadelphiaunionfoundation.org. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in for another episode of Amore Philly Union. We're your hosts. I'm Paul.
I'm C.
And I'm E.
Go Union!
When you guys do this sign off, do you hear the music in your head as you're doing it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad I'm not the only one.